So happy to be here. I love this show so much, and I'm so pleased to welcome the stars of the show. Please join me in welcoming Chris Messina and Kaley Cuoco.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a weird, funny, genuinely thrilling series. This is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors.
Yes.
Yes. Woo. Love that.
Strike's over.
Yes. God.
So I always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job? I know, Kaley, you started at like age
Can I
5.
call my mom real quick and ask her?
Please tell her.
She'll
hi.
literally know the answer. Do you know the answer?
It had to have been a Law and Order.
Yes.
Which is a New York rite of passage.
Yes.
Law and Order.
Were you the killer or a witness or?
I think I had one. I think I said help as I died.
Oh, you pretended to be a corpse.
Yeah, I just said ha, and then I was it.
That was like the dream for so many actors. You get cast as like the bad guys. They want to be the corpse.
Yeah, then they stand over you and do all the acting.
I really don't remember. I mean, I was so little. It had to have been a commercial. Like, I did so many commercials when I was little. I was like the Barbie girl. I did
You were.
probably like 10 Barbie commercials. So it had to be that, I think.
Pretty sure you sold me a Barbie. At one point.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
those very vividly.
So crazy.
Well, again,
Was
congratulations.
yours Barbie commercial or?
Yeah, I left that out.
Yeah.
Again, this is such a fantastic series, and I know it's created by Craig Rosenberg, who's the brilliant, twisted mind who wrote every episode. He's previously worked on shows like The Boys and Preacher, and he's just such a specific sensibility. Are you true crime fans? How did the project kind of find its way to you, and what was sort of your initial reaction to this? To being able to laugh about what is kind of a serious topic in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I love that sort of genre, that tone where it's a little wink to the camera, a little scary, and then the next minute you're laughing. I love true crime. I am obsessed. I spend every night putting myself to bed watching Dateline, which is, I don't know if I should, that's a problem, but I love it. So when this came about, actually a few years ago, my partner Tom had the script and he was reading it. And it had nothing to do with me, and he was like, oh, I'm reading the script, but you want to read it? I said, can I read that? And I read it. I said, this is amazing. He goes, isn't it great? And then we both never talked about it again. And then 6 months later, I got a call about it. And I'm like, I've read that script. I know what that is. So I already kind of had an idea of what it was. And then I spoke to the team and Craig, and it was really up my alley. Yeah. I mean, obviously the true crime of it all, the kind of fun of it all, a little silly. I could still be a little bit funny. And then Chris came aboard, and every person, and then I wanted it to not work on the job. Yeah. And then I was already stuck, and there was nothing I could do.
That was tough.
That was the big downfall of this.
That wasn't,
That was tough.
That wasn't fun.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But, so I said I really wanted to do it, but it was definitely something that that sort of genre tone is what I love. It's like a playful, but adventure, but kind of scary. And this kind of, in a way, a two-hander with the two of us. But everybody, on a real note, everyone that I know has basically worked with Chris. And they're like, if you ever get an opportunity to work with Chris Messina, you have to do it. So he's very beloved.
I was surprised you hadn't worked together.
It's your turn to say something nice about me.
Yes.
I tossed it up very high for you. It's coming down, so might want to dive in there.
When I was born... is it my turn to answer? How did I get involved? It was really her. I knew that she was attached to it, and I was a big fan of hers, and I thought we would work well together. And she's amazing. She's amazing. She made us all better. She's so annoying because she's so good, So would she come to work and say like, I don't know what this scene's about, and they say action, and she'd be incredible, and I would be in a corner with like a million acting books trying to figure it out, So she grew up. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. She grew up on sets, and she just is a pro, but also has this incredible looseness about the way she works, and we just all followed her lead. So really the reason I'm here is because I wanted to be with her.
And doing all this, yeah. See, he delivered, wasn't
He
that
delivered,
nice?
yes. He
And
delivered.
you're also a producer on the show.
Yes.
And you're pregnant when shooting.
Oh yeah, I was
And-
pregnant.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. I was very pregnant.
And I just have to say, rocking this amazing outfit that I
Thank
can't
you.
get over. If we
Thank
could be
you.
superficial for a moment. this
No,
is
I love
incredible.
that. Thank you. Actually, being pregnant was not written into the show originally at
Yeah.
all. In fact, there was actually many reiterations of the show. One time it was
They were
older
older,
kids, there was
yeah.
a step kid, there was a bunch of those things. And then there were no kids. And then I got pregnant and I had a meeting with the team and I was like, hey, what if this character was pregnant? And we're in a circle and Craig's like, oh, you know, kind of half listening to me. And I'm like, no, really, I think it'd just be so interesting if she was pregnant. And they're still not getting it. And they're kind of looking at me. And then they all kind of slowly look at me at once. And I was like, sorry, not sorry. And so they sat with it. And after a couple days, Craig called. He goes, you know, I have to tell you, this might be actually something that could be very special. And for some reason, it just raised the stakes with what was happening with the two of them. And it was something, they had obviously wanted kids at some point, and then the kids were taken out. So this was kind of a happy medium. And it was great because then you have this like this visual situation going on. It's kind of mentioned, it's kind of normal, and they're going through all this crazy stuff. So it actually, I think, helped the show a lot
honestly
anyway.
thought you were such a great actor, you got pregnant for the part.
I would, you know, I would have if they needed me to. Season 2, we don't, maybe. You just never know. I don't know what's going to be asked of me then, but I'm a giving actor. No, it ended up being the right thing, which is so crazy. And the pregnancy was like, the timing of it was exactly my timing of being pregnant. So yeah, I think we started at like 6 to 5 months or something. And I mean, by the time we wrapped, I literally had her 3 weeks later. And I think we pushed a couple days because of weather, and we kept being like, guys, we can't push anymore. The show's gonna take a really gross turn. Yeah, it was getting close there.
She was super tough. It was amazing to kind of watch her go through that. She could fall asleep anywhere at any time.
It's a gift. It's a gift that I have.
Yeah, we have a lot of pictures of her, kind of laid out. And then they were ready for her, and she'd pop up and be amazing. So
I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was awesome. Of course, I'd be shooting a show while pregnant. That's of course.
Well, it adds this extra layer of desperation to this couple, and also makes you really want to protect you even more. So I actually think it was a stroke of genius.
It was a happy accident in all of our lives.
So I'm surprised that you didn't know each other or hadn't worked together, and because this show does hinge so much on your chemistry, was there a read of any kind, like even over Zoom, or you just met each other and hit the ground running?
We were laughing about this the other day because we had a Zoom set up to meet each other, yes. And we were laughing at how ridiculously like
polite we were.
Proper and polite. Oh, Chris, nice to meet you. And he's like, how do you work? I like to work this way. It was ridiculous considering how we are now.
Yeah.
It was very serious and, oh, you like to work like this, and oh, we like to play this. This is great. Let's talk about the characters. And I was like, oh God, I hope it's not always going to be like that. I was like, the last thing I want to do is talk about my character. This is
Let's
awful.
talk about their backstory.
I was like, oh, oh my God, he's one of those. And then the minute he tried it again, I was like, we're not doing that. And it was a match made in heaven. And it was immediate chemistry when we met each other, like in person, you know, and could play off. And I really have said this show has been one of the biggest joys of my career. Like it really has been. And it's really because of Chris and that and dynamic and the fun. And it's a weird show, and it makes it kind of special.
Yeah. You do have very different styles, don't you? Though of approaching
Yeah.
acting. How does that work? Even now he's getting the serious face on.
When I was born,
Yeah.
did I talk about that? No, we do have different styles, but I think they both complement each other. And she helped me. Look, you're a bunch of actors out there. Whenever you're working with somebody that's better, you know, we rise to the occasion. So I think she made me funnier at times, or she helped me understand the comedy. And I think at times I would say, I think this scene has to land here when we have to, you know, have this is a big moment for whatever they're going through, and So I think we complemented each other, right?
100%. Yes, I think I lightened him up a little bit when he thought things were too serious, and he would ground me. There was the one like serious scene we had in the court when we're burying the body, which is a hilarious thing to say. And I was making jokes, and he's like, "Will you stop making jokes? Like, you have to be real in this scene. Like, you have to." I'm like, "I know, but I feel like the real me would be like freaking out and making jokes." But he realized, just him saying that though was like, "Okay, I hear you." And we definitely had we counterbalanced each other really beautifully and listened to each other. I'm like, am I being too crazy right now? And we kind of check in with each other in that way.
And she's also someone that's really good on the first take, and I need like 7 or 8 of them.
Right.
So since she was pregnant, I'd sometimes go up to her and be like, "You want to sit down and sit this out?" You know? And she would be like, "No, I'm here." But I like a lot of takes.
Yes,
Really?
we know.
Because
He likes to really feel it, get into it. I think one and done. Just get on out of there.
But you just have to mention you just worked with Clint Eastwood.
Which
And
is
Oh,
like
Clint this,
one
Clint
take.
that.
Yeah.
It's all he's talked about. Tell us about your Clint movie. It's not why we're here.
Clint does one
You could come to
take
his
with that.
next thing about the Clint movie.
Well,
Great.
Clint said to me when I was born, no, Clint Eastwood, he's famous for 1 or 2 takes. So I had to kind of,
I would thrive in that environment.
You would. You would be amazing. The hardest part of acting for me is the drive home,
Oh yeah.
because I
learned to turn my phone off on those drive homes. Call me.
Yes, I would call her and I'd call my friends, and I'm always super neurotic and annoying. I like preparing. I don't often love doing it. And I hate the drive home because I second guess everything I did. I'm sure a lot of us do that. But yeah, I think I did a lot of theater. So with Clint, I kind of tried to go back to that place where this is what it is, and try to be Zen-like. But I would love to work with David Fincher and do like 100 takes.
Oh, yeah, that will do 100 takes for sure. He doesn't give himself enough credit. I mess with him, but he is one of the funniest, one of the most brilliant actors that we actually have. He can do everything, and he's so charming and so lovable that him doing the worst thing, you still love him. No, that's a capability that not a lot of people have. So there's something about you, even you doing this terrible thing on this show, you're able to people who still root for you. That's something about him. He's phenomenal. He just does not give himself enough credit.
It's so important to the show, and so is the tone, because as someone who can't go to funerals because they always laugh.
Yeah.
You're walking this balance where you have a thriller aspect. It can't really be pigeonholed into any one genre, but how do you keep that tone so balanced that these people are doing some horrible things and we know it's okay to laugh?
How do we keep the balance of that?
Yeah, get that or just find the tone. I mean, I know a lot of it is in
The
the
tone
script.
is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we leaned on Kaley for that. Honestly, we did. Because you kind of were. She was the captain of the ship, and she understands that tone. I don't know. I don't know why you do, but I didn't. We talked a little bit about the Coen brothers and that kind of stuff. Obviously a tough act to follow, but the tone is hard. When to be serious, when to be zany. At times it's like a screwball comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is a tone that I enjoy. I mean, I feel like we did a lot of that with Flight Attendant, and I like that genre. I like things that are really scary, but you're also kind of laughing and you're kind of crying, and I always say it's like a wink to the camera. And sometimes it gets a little big, but that's okay. A little fantastical, and then all of a sudden in a whiplash, you're completely grounded and you're crying, or you've made someone feel something out of nowhere. And I just think that's really cool. And I think it's hard to do. And it requires, there are a lot of conversation of oh God, what is this scene? And it requires sometimes doing it one way and then doing it a total other way and seeing what it looks like in the edit and how that works. And I thrive on that. I think that's really fun and it's unexpected. But yeah, it is a specific way to do things, and it's a specific tone.
That's what I was going to ask, if they let you do it really dramatic, try it several different ways, and sometimes you don't even know until you see it how it turns out.
No, I never knew what we were doing literally until they called action. I would be like, because I really like to be in the moment. I like to be in the moment. I like to feel it. I don't know what's going to happen. I like to say, okay, to our director, can you tell me where you want us to start and where you want us to end? so that I can find the weird journey there, because it's, and you know, I love the camera moving around and being able to move my arms and be kind of crazy, and that's what kind of worked for this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for everybody. He went on the ride with me. He was like, "What's happening?"
It was a fun ride. It was a really fun ride.
Is improv allowed or encouraged?
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Oh,
We
okay.
couldn't if we, I mean, I don't even mean to, and I'm saying things that make no sense. But yeah, but that's where the magic happens.
Alex Bono is the directing producer, and he comes from documentary now. He directed all of those.
He's amazing.
So he loves improvisation, and he kind of let us go, which was so fun. And I think through the improvisation, we found the characters and the chemistry.
We did. He did. He let us do what he was incredible. But in the blooper reel, there were so many times where you'd hear him. It must have been 30 minutes of us, you know, messing around. He's like, "Can we please just get one? Can you guys just do one?" And you like, just from the background, you hear someone like, "Can they just do? Can they do one?" That we. He was
Can we
hilarious.
get the line once?
Can you get the
We
line
heard
once?
that
Like,
a
we have to
lot.
go to lunch.
Yeah.
We heard a lot.
Yeah.
People have to go home.
Can you please shut up?
Can you please, can you please stop talking so we can hear other people talk? We got a lot of those notes. We learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun season
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
You've been picked up for season 2
Yes.
already?
Yes.
So excited. We go back in May. We're really excited about it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And we talked about sort of building your chemistry, but your whole cast is fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
And you guys, this sounds weird, but you have a wonderful camaraderie with Tom Bateman, who plays Matt, the serial killer.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, I have to. Was that the role that your Tom was going to go out for?
I don't think he was going. I think he just had the script. I
Okay.
think because he had just worked with Bateman on Ozark, and I think because Bateman produced
Oh,
this.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah. And yes. Sorry. Different Bateman.
So many
Jason,
Batemans.
I know.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman's company produced this, and so they worked on Ozark, and I think he was just sharing the script with them and saying, "Look at it," because this was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was like right when we met. So no, that hall has a different life story. Yeah, but then Tom Bateman came along, who's brilliant.
He's great, and it's such a hard job that he does. You know,
Yes.
that's such a fine line to walk. Again, likable, charming, but you're scared of him and all that stuff. He's a great actor. And all the folks that came on, all our friends. Did you just watch the first
First
episode?
episode.
Yeah. Have you seen anything else but the first episode?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if you keep watching, those that haven't seen it, our friend group the bench is incredible. It's a great group of
Yeah,
actors.
great group.
I hope they all come back because they were awesome.
I love the bromance that sort of develops between you and Matt in the
Yeah.
show.
I hope we could do more stuff. I loved acting with him. He's he's a cool cat and just loves the work, and so I hope to do more with him.
I feel he had the most difficult job in our show.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said. Obviously, he's playing a terrible human being, but it's also like kind of funny, and he's actually very adorable and charming, and so he has that going for him. But he had to kind of play that, and then he had to turn, and you had to be terrified. So I'm very in awe of what I think he did an amazing job. If you really watch, that's very difficult.
I also love Natalia Dyer, who plays Chloe.
Yes.
And Priscilla, Quintana,
Yes.
Ruby. Like you said, the bench is so deep. It must have been so fun to show up on set every day and have another amazing actor.
It really was. It was one of those jobs where it was like exciting to get to go to work, and it really was an absolute joy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you get to go work with, like I said earlier, with people that make you better, and that you like them as humans, and the idea that you get to, all of us, that we get to do this and go to work and laugh, especially in the times we're living in, like it's just a great gift, So we're lucky. We're very fortunate.
And Kaley, you're a producer on the series, and you've directed. So I'm wondering how much of a say you have in the casting, and because there's so many actors here, having been on the other side of the casting table, is there anything that helped you going into that room when you had to read for a part? That
That is a good
Sorry to take
question.
you
Oh my
back.
gosh, no, that is a really good, because auditioning is very hard.
And it's a separate.
It's
skill.
really hard. I actually don't feel like I had some trouble with that, and I think I still, even the thought of it gives me heart palpitations. So, and now with Zoom, and it's just a very different world. It's tough. How do you even answer that?
I think, yeah, I'm the same way. I went through a lot of hard times. I remember my agents getting called something wrong with Chris? I tried everything. I tried, being kind, being mad at them,
Right,
being,
yeah.
But I think
Gotta
that
try everything.
I think the key, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but the key is that you have to enjoy acting for that 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and say, I get to act today, and I'm gonna enjoy the prep of that and enjoy the room and leave feeling like you got a chance to act, and it's a beautiful thing, and then walk away and kind of try to forget it.
I know. I think if you think too much more about it, you won't want to do it anymore because it's so intense. And I know it's repetitive, but the right one is out there. Luckily for this project, I got to I know you did too, but I read with Priscilla and Tom and a few people over Zoom. So that was cool, and being able to, I know that helped a lot, and be like, okay, let's like put the sides down and just kind of talk and let it go. And that obviously makes a huge difference when you're able to do that. But I know it's getting tougher and tougher, and the Zooms doesn't super help.
I think too, people don't really know anything about acting.
I agree. Yeah.
And a lot of
I
these
agree.
people that we go into
Yes.
the rooms for, unfortunately, there are some spectacular casting and producers and directors, and then there's a bunch of people that just don't know what they're doing. And Brando or whoever, Meryl Streep could walk in and they'd be like, yeah, whatever. So that's what we're up against a little bit. When I was born, but I don't know, but yeah, I think enjoying it as much as you can is probably the best.
Did you ever have any of those epically horrible auditions that you just on your drive home beat yourself up over? And would you be willing to share it with us?
God, I got a really long bad soprano story.
Really?
Yeah, I see if I could do the abbreviated version.
You would be so great on The Sopranos.
I think
They
we've
didn't
run
think
out of
so.
time. They didn't think
They
so.
didn't think so.
Tell us.
Okay. I'm trying to make it really quick. I was doing a play. I had auditioned for The Sopranos. This is such a sad story.
This is great, guys. Buckle up.
Okay. I auditioned in Manhattan for The Sopranos. It was a small role, but there was callbacks. And when I got to the callbacks in Queens, I was doing a play at the time and a little nervous about getting back to the city to do the play. There was the callbacks were 60 or 70 guys. They had narrowed it down, and they were behind. And when I finally got it, and I had called my agent and said, can I leave? Can I leave? I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I got to make it back to the play. I'm going to leave. When I finally got in, I guess I had 5, 6, 7 lines in the scene, but there was a lot of listening to do, which was a big part of acting. Georgianne Walken, the casting director, someone's videotaping this, and she said,
It's live
It's
on
live.
Facebook right now.
she did, this happened, she did say, I got my line out, she said her line, and then she said, skipping down, skipping down, skipping down, skipping down, and she didn't read the scene after 2 hours of waiting.
Oh my God.
So then they're I finished and they said, thank you, Chris. And I had a meltdown in the room.
I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
I was like, that's it?
I don't blame
That's
you.
it? I came all the way out to Queens. Can't you read the scene with me? And they said, thank you, Chris. And I slammed the door.
This is a terrible story.
It's terrible. It's so sad, this story.
Oh my God.
And by the time I got to the subway, my agent called and said, what did you do in the room?
Oh my God.
You're never going to work for HBO. You're never going to work as By the way, I did the Newsroom, 6 Feet Under, and Sharp Objects.
See, it
for
all
HBO.
ends up being fine.
So it ends up to be a happy story. But
Not a sad story.
That is a crazy story.
skipping down, skipping down.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Skipping down? Is that a line?
Everyone in this room, I think, can relate to that story.
Absolutely.
It's so proud is not the right word, but kind of jealous that you did what you did.
No, it's true. We all have those stories like that. I think just as important, there's so many jobs that you lose out on that you think is the end of the world. And then it's kind of crazy. The cheesiest statement, one door closes, another opens. An hour later, something else appears. There's a job I wanted so bad last year. I wanted Fargo, this season of Fargo so bad. And I was like devastated. I cried. I was so ready to like move to wherever they were shooting and like become like a snow bunny and like be like Miss Fargo. And then like 7 seconds later, I got this script for this show.
Wow.
And but it really was that fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so much more my speed. And like, I don't know, it is really wild how that happens. Everything truly happens for a reason, but I know it's a tough business sometimes.
I just told the story the other day that you were like on the 3rd iteration of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like 2 pilots, I think, that they tried.
3 actresses before me.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 actresses. Actually, I failed that audition miserably originally. Yes. I also was up for a pilot that year that I wanted. That it was, you guys know, go to test, go to network, right? All the steps, you're getting paired with the other actors. Everyone, you think it's yours. Didn't get the pilot. I was so upset. And then like a minute later, I got this call for Big Bang, and I went in kind of not caring. I didn't prepare much, kind of in a way. I don't want to say I tanked it because I would never, but I just was not. My heart wasn't into it. And Chuck Lorre, who I'd worked with years prior, was like, "We're gonna work together. We're gonna work together." So he brought me in for Big Bang. Kind of was like, whatever. And he called my team later and was like, I don't know what that audition was, but I love her, and I don't know what that was. He literally said that. And he's like, can she come back? Like, it was like kind of that vibe too. And they called, they're like, Chuck loves you. Like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. I've been so depressed about this other show. So obviously I got my shit together and came back, and it all worked out. And the other pilot never went, and no one even has ever heard of it, funny enough, because that always is what happens. Like, you just have to believe the right thing is happening, but it is so hard in the moment.
Yeah. I always say Hugh Jackman was not the first Wolverine.
Right.
Yeah. So things happen.
Amanda Seyfried, I believe, I'm not kidding, was like the 10th person for Dropout. And I know she's told that story too. I think it's an amazing story, because whether who turned it down or who couldn't do it or schedules, you would not believe these reiterations of these actors, and then she does it, is obviously meant to do it, so brilliant, wins everything for it. Like, that's just so awesome.
Yeah.
You don't know how that all comes together. We don't see the backstory.
Absolutely. And I do think things happen when they happen for a reason.
Yes.
Which is very easy for me to say, but
No, it really is true. It's very simple, but it is true.
So can you go back in May? I don't know if you can give us any teases about the 2nd season, or
Not gonna be pregnant.
sure.
I'm sure.
We've got 5 months.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
What if they write it in the script?
They are not writing that in the script. But we don't have any info on what this is gonna be.
No.
We really don't.
We don't have anything. We're not holding back. We don't really know yet, but we're super excited. We're super excited. We hope you dig it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to get back. I think it's such a fantastic show. I want to remind everyone, if you can go out the back and join us for the reception at the Boxwood, there is a camera right there.
Going live.
Please join us, and all
Thanks
the
for
episodes
coming, guys.
Thanks for coming and
Thank
sticking
you.
around.
Very nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy